Narendra Modi touches down for his two-day visit in Abu Dhabi. There is a lot of anticipation, but the big highlight will be Alen Modi, a big event which is likely to take place in a stadium, and also the inauguration of a Hindu temple, which is the largest Hindu temple in the Middle East. With me is Indian ambassador to UAE. Sir, let me begin by asking you the big highlights. What's on Prime Minister Modi's itinerary in those 24 hours that he's going to be here?
It's going to be a very elaborate visit. Two of the main elements you've already mentioned, Alen Modi as well as inauguration of the Baps Hindu Mandir. But of course, there will be a bilateral meeting with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed in Abu Dhabi. You would have also heard about Prime Minister addressing the World Government Summit as the guest of honor. That's another big one.
Let's talk about the events first. Alen Modi. Over 50,000 Indians, I believe, are expected in it. The Indian diaspora has been very, very active in the Middle East, particularly in the UAE. What are the expectations of that event?
The UAE is home to more than 3.5 million Indians. And as far as Indian nationals are concerned, perhaps this is home to the largest Indian community anywhere in the world. They are all very keenly looking forward to Prime Minister's visit and also Alen Modi event. Alen in Arabic means welcome. And this is a welcome which is really coming from the heart of the Indian community here. They have been preparing for this event for some time now. And when the registration was started, I must share with you that there was a deluge of people showing their interest in attending the event. But when the number crossed 65,000, the organizers had to just stop registration because they could not accommodate more than that number. So they're looking forward to that. Indian community here is looking forward to the BAPS inauguration as well. Not only the community here, but I think the whole of India and the diaspora across the world.
Yes. I want to understand from you, I mean, what makes this BAPS Hindu temple so unique? Because there are 3 Hindu temples in UAE already.
You're right. There are already some Hindu temples here, but what makes it very special is the fact that this is one temple which comes out of the vision of the leaders. When Prime Minister Modi first visited the UAE in 2015, this mandir was announced by the leaders. And after that, there's been consistent progress on this in spite of COVID, and today the temple is completed. That's one. Second is the scale of this temple. It's massive. It's the largest Hindu temple in this part of the world. And also the involvement of the Indian community here, the support of the UAE government. UAE government has gifted about 27 acres of land for the temple construction and all facilitation right from the initial announcement to its completion. And I'm sure it will continue. So it's very special in that sense. For us, and in fact, if you look at it, although our relationship has been historical, this temple is a symbol of the centuries of the social, economic and cultural connect between Bharat and the Gulf. It is an oasis of peace, harmony and tolerance in this country. And that's why people from all walks of life, from all faiths are there. They've been participating in the temple construction process.
There's a lot of personal investment which seems to have gone in this relationship between India and UAE, which has been done by the Prime Minister himself. There's a lot of warmth which was on display also recently when Mohammed bin Zayed visited Gujarat. There was a road show which we saw, and so I want to understand from you, do you think this is because of that personal connect which Prime Minister Modi does? And how has this changed from pre-2014 era?
When Prime Minister Modi first visited the UAE in 2015, it was after a gap of 34 years. The previous visit of Indian Prime Minister was in 1981. There was a huge gap. And since 2015, tomorrow's visit is going to be the 7th visit. There is no doubt a strong personal bond between our leaders. There's a strong friendship, strong brotherly relations between the two leaders, and that's how you see this relationship being transformed in the last 9-10 years. It couldn't have happened unless the leaders themselves had directed and guided this relationship.
And what we are also seeing is that despite COVID challenges, there was no stopping of this relationship or halting of this relationship, particularly the CEPA, which is the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which was inked during the COVID times. What is the development on that front? And I also want to understand the corridor. How far have we moved on that?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned COVID because COVID was a testing time for the world. And it was during that time that the strength of our relationship came out loud and clear. India and the UAE actually set up a food bridge because India provides food security to a large extent to the UAE, as much as the UAE provides India energy security. There were evacuation flights. The air bubble, if you recall, I mean, many people might have forgotten, that was there to take Indians to the safety of their homes in India and also bring them back to join their work again. So that was a testing time, and this relationship really stood out. After that, in fact not after that, during that, CEPA was negotiated in barely 88 days, and that laid the edifice of a new generation of our economic engagement. Within 2 years of that, most likely we'll sign the bilateral investment treaty during the Prime Minister's visit. So this relationship has strengthened, deepened in terms of economic engagement, but also in other areas like fintech, for instance. In the last visit of Prime Minister Modi in July, our countries signed an agreement on settling trade in local currencies, the dirham and the Indian rupee, which is a remarkable thing. And when it happens between two major trade partners, it has huge significance.
And Ambassador Sudhir, UAE is a very crucial or if I may say vital cog in the India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. What is the movement on that front?
First of all, I want to say that one of the very concrete and positive outcomes of the G20 summit chaired by India was the announcement of the IMEC corridor. So the first two countries are of course India and the UAE, and the UAE was a special invitee of India during G20 summit. Plans are taking shape now, and I think it's very important. The importance of the corridor is actually underscored by the fact that there is need for alternate supply routes. If you look at happenings in the region, that vindicates the existence of IMEC, and I'm sure it will become a reality sooner than later.
Ambassador Sudhir, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. This is the beautiful Baps Temple, which will be inaugurated by Prime Minister on 14th. It is spread over 27 acres. The land was given by the government of UAE, and that perhaps makes it very special in terms of that cultural connect, the connect also of civilization, one may say. This temple inauguration will be seen as also the crowning glory in what has been Prime Minister's image as Hindu Hriday Samrat. Let's try and get more details of this temple and what makes it so special. With me is Mitali, who works as a volunteer, and she'll be doing a guided tour for us.
Absolutely.
Mitali, what makes it special? I believe there are 3 temples in UAE, but what makes this Baps temple so unique?
So behind us we can see the BAPS Hindu Mandir. What makes this very, very unique is that this is going to be the first temple of its kind in the Middle East. The temple has been built according to the ancient Indian scriptures, the Shilpa Shastras. This is a stone temple and the first of its kind in all of Middle East.
Okay, so it's first of its kind, and these carvings, yes. Where is the stone from? I believe it is from Rajasthan. Yes. And where did the artisans come from?
So on the outside of the mandir, you can see it is pink sandstone, which also blends beautifully with the color of the sand in the deserts around us.
That's right.
On the inside, you can see white, pristine white Italian Carrara marble, which has been carved. Let me also show you a very beautiful carving on the outside. The story of the mandir began in 1997 when Pramukh Swami Maharaj visited the United Arab Emirates, and he sat in the desert of Sharjah and he said, may there be a temple in Abu Dhabi that will be a symbol of global love, peace and harmony. This is the carving that depicts that story.
Okay. So, but what we were told was that it all begins in 2019 when the foundation stone was laid.
In 1997, Pramukh Swami Maharaj said, and he made a prayer that may there once be a mandir in Abu Dhabi. In 2019, our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi inaugurated the model of the mandir that was to be built.
Okay, so tell us about this pillar. How many pillars are there and what makes this mandir unique in terms of its architecture?
We have 144 pillars which are on the inside, but what you can see on the outside here are 7 shikhars or spires. The 7 shikhars represent the 7 emirates of the United Arab Emirates.
Yes, and there are these murtis. Give us some details about that.
So there are on the inside we're going to have the murtis of Bhagwan Swaminarayan and Akshar Purushottam, Ram Sita, Shiv Parvati ji, Radha Krishna, Jagannath ji, Tirupati Balaji and Lord Ayappa. On the inside where you have the murti of Bhagwan Swaminarayan and Akshar Purushottam, on the outside the stories of their life have been carved. When on the inside when you have the murtis of Ram and Sita, on the outside we have carved the story of the Ramayana. Where you have Krishna and Radha, on the outside you have the stories of the Mahabharata carved.
Yes, and it's a beautiful mix of the pink sandstone outside and then inside you have the white marble.
Yes.
So who is the architecture? What was the thought behind this color combination?
On the outside we've used pink sandstone, which is also very it is quite durable in the heat because this country can get quite hot. It also blends very beautifully with the color of the sand around. On the inside the white marble looks pristine and the carvings look stunning. What I'd also like to show you is this mandir is actually going to signify the close ties between the countries of UAE and India.
So tell us about in terms of, we are seeing symbols in terms of cows, buffaloes,
Yes.
Tigers, lions.
Yeah, so typically in mandirs, even in India, you will always see elephants at the bottom of a mandir because elephants are a symbol of strength and patience. But we wanted to bring the UAE and India together. So what we've also done is carved camels, the oryx and the falcon, which are a symbol and national animals of the UAE alongside the elephant. Let me show you some of these carvings. So you can see the peacocks, which is the national symbol of India over here.
The work started in 2019 and in 2024 we are seeing the inauguration happen.
Yes, absolutely. The mandir has been hand carved. There has been no metal that has been used in the construction of this mandir. So you can see it is very, very intricately carved and a lot of effort has been made to actually bring this temple come to fruition in record time. You will see some of the beautiful carvings over here as well. We've got horses and we have, you can see the falcons, which are the national symbol of the United Arab Emirates also over here. I'd also like to show you something that's very unique in this mandir. We've got stories from 14 different civilizations from around the world carved over here. This mandir is going to be a symbol of global love, peace and harmony, and we want people from all countries to feel at home at this mandir, and so we've incorporated stories from 14 different civilizations around over here. We've got stories from the Arabian Peninsula, stories from China, the Aztecs, the Mayan. You will also see a very, very unique feature of this, the Egyptian hieroglyphics, something that you don't normally see in a Hindu mandir. Egyptian hieroglyphics have also been carved here. Stories from Africa, from around the world have been carved over here, so everybody feels at home here.
Yes, and let's explain to our viewers about this entire space in and around this temple. You were telling me about that confluence of 3 rivers. Just give us a sense of what exactly is that.
Sure. So when you, before you enter the mandir, you will see a confluence of 3 rivers. It's called the Triveni Sangam. The United Arab Emirates is known for its sand dunes and the desert, but what it does not have a lot of is water bodies. So we wanted to bring harmony between the UAE and India, and so we brought water from the sacred rivers of India, Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati, and we have put that water here. Saraswati is going to be depicted as an illumination of light, and Ganga and Yamuna on the right and on the left.
in Abu Dhabi, there is a Gurudwara. In Abu Dhabi, I mean, there is that world famous Abu Dhabi mosque, which is seen more as a cultural space rather than a religious space. Is there a sense that this will be more about culture than religion?
Absolutely. This is all about Indian culture as well, and also an amalgamation of the culture in the UAE and India. The whole idea behind this is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, where people of all faiths, all religions and any nationality can come and live in global harmony. This mandir itself is a revival of 10,000 years worth of art and architecture and culture. So this is a symbol of love, peace and harmony.
And perhaps it will also mark the beginning of a new relationship between India and UAE in the middle of this desert. If the camera could pan and show that, there is this oasis of heritage. Thank you for speaking to NDTV. With video journalist Mursaleen, this is Marya Shakil from Baps Temple here in Abu Dhabi. We are now inside the Zayed Sports City Stadium. You can see the preparation is in full swing. In fact, the organizers tell me 65,000 members of the Indian diaspora are expected here, and roughly around 7 p.m. tomorrow is when the Prime Minister will be addressing this diaspora. Be it the Alphonse Arena in Sydney or Madison Square Garden event in New York City, we have often seen that interaction with the Indian community has been an important part of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's foreign policy. With me, some organizers of this big event of Alen Modi. I want to understand from you, sabse pehle, why Alen Modi?
Alen Modi means we welcome Modi. So welcome Modi. Alen in Arabic is called as, Alen is basically for Arabic word for welcome.
Okay, since you both are organizers, I want to understand from you, when did the preparations begin and how many people are you expecting?
This preparation began 2.5 months ago. Okay. We are expecting about 40,000 people here. This is a much bigger event. Okay, you see the ambience, you get overawed by the overall ambience. So somebody who comes here, he'll be really coming in for a great experience. And much bigger gates, larger number of gates are there, and also the Indian diaspora relationship, with the UAE and India relationship are on a different keel. Especially after signing of the CEPA, trade relations are on an upswing, and there is just general mood like these are where brother countries we are dealing about. So because of the trade and a lot of business activity, everybody is so upbeat and excited, and we have closed the registrations about 10 days back, but still we have a lot of pressure of many people like pressuring
65,000 plus on the 2nd of February. We were asked to close because they obviously didn't want a larger crowd than the 60,136 of Wembley. So 65 was the number they gave us, and we had to close the registrations. And of course, there is a limit in the number of people who can be here because of the rain and of course the requirements of the traffic. So we have brought it down in terms of the number of people who can be present at this stadium to 40,000.
Okay, so in terms of the difference, Prime Minister Modi had attended a big diaspora event in Dubai in 2015. What will be different this time around?
In 2015, he had just finished 1 year plus of his premiership. Now he has finished 9.5 plus, probably close to 10 years of premiership. Today he has a different situation with even the Indian diaspora. Today every person from India who's here thinks that he's probably been the best prime minister for us. And that's one of the biggest difference between 2015 and 2024 today. So I feel this is
special also because Prime Minister Modi was the first Indian Prime Minister to visit UAE after 34 years.
42 years.
34 years.
Yeah,
34 years.
34
that's
years.
Yes, 34 years. I want to understand from you, in terms of the scale, why do you think we have often seen these very big events that is organized in which the diaspora connects with the Prime Minister? There is a lot of jubilation, there is a lot of celebration, but at the same time, there is that emphasis that the Prime Minister gives on the role of the diaspora in the India story.
See, last man, because of the reforms the Prime Minister has brought, many schemes, the last man life has changed. So we know of many people whose life has changed. So the general goodwill for the Prime Minister is amazing. Everybody just wants to be part of this event. look at him, see him. Just that's all for people.
In 10 years, he has changed the fortune and the future of 1.4 billion people. And that's what makes the difference for us. Every single Indian here realizes it, and they have seen it back in India in terms of infrastructure as well as rest of the financial inclusion and the other facilities which they have given to the countrymen.
So sorry to add. You know, we are from the business fraternity. Okay, I have business. We have seen how the upswing from the India, imports have become. Like I am from the textile trade. Okay, and then the textile imports from India today have gone up by about 50-60% than it was before. So generally, each and every person's life has been changed, affected. For a businessman, it is more profits, and for a general person, it is more,
India and UAE have signed an agreement called Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which gives, it's a friendly agreement wherein we allow either parties to have lower customs duty. So that's the most important thing you have to understand. In the last probably 1.5, 2 years, the trade has gone up by almost 15% between the two countries.
50%.
50%, yeah.
50%.
And this cultural connect that we are looking at, what was there pre-2014 and what changed post-2014?
Oh my God. If you see, we go anywhere, today Indians are respected, seen in a different level. You go at the immigration or you go to the custom or you go to any government office, Indians are seen in a different light. Our reputation, our respect in the eyes of the government has gone up tremendously. It's a paradigm shift, what we have gone. Anything you want to add?
Even the organizers here have got huge support from the government authorities. So in terms of clearances, in terms of supporting in every possible way, even getting us waivers in some of the places. So it's been probably I can see that difference between the two times, between 2015 and 2020.
In terms of what should we expect here tomorrow? Give us a sense of what will happen in those hours.
Just with 400 people yesterday in this, I was outside and I could see that the emotions and the sound and Alen Modi's sound all over was reverberating all over this place. People outside who were there with me, some of the locals, they were saying, oh, this has already started. With just 400 people inside, 500 maybe the volunteers were here. Yeah. So I'm sure with 40,000 people in this stadium, you are going to have an electrifying moment here in this stadium.
To tell you simply, our phone has not stopped ringing since morning. You see, continuously my phone is on. We are getting just requests. My ticket has not come. My pass has not come. My pass has not come.
Yeah, I think.
Any important announcement that you're expecting from the Prime Minister?
I mean, Prime Minister, every speech of his, he is an announcement to make. So I'm so sure about it that every speech you hear that. So maybe this speech also we will hear some new announcement from him.
Something new. We are looking forward to it. Yes.
Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. So clearly, as we said, there is a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement. As the organizers were telling us, they are expecting over 50,000 people. It's bright and sunny here in Abu Dhabi. With camera person Mursaleen, this is Marya Shakil for NDTV.